Chris Ann's one-card meditation guides you through a process of using tarot cards for introspective inquiry, beginning with selecting and interpreting a card intuitively before referencing a guidebook. The path-working exercise involves immersing oneself in the imagery of a chosen tarot card, expanding it mentally until it becomes a doorway into a new, symbolic landscape where you engage with the card's character to receive insights. This meditation encourages deep listening to subconscious wisdom, allowing metaphors and intuitive messages to arise naturally for a personal connection with the tarot card's energy and message. If you enjoy this meditation from Chris Ann's brand new audiobook, Tarot for Light Seers, don't miss your chance to listen to the full audiobook free with a trial of Empower You Unlimited Audio. Visit hayhouse.com/empower to start listening today.
Readings and spreads. There are so many ways to set up a reading, and as you work with the cards, you will find your own favorite ways to shuffle, draw, and interpret them. Usually, you will come to the cards with something you want to learn about, a project, a relationship, or an idea. Decide in advance the type of spread you are going to use to gather information from your cards. Will you choose one card or more? How will you lay the cards on the table? What sort of spread will you use? There are many ideas for spreads in the supplemental PDF to get started. Let's begin with a one-card reading. Clearly meditate on your situation or your question. Bring it to the front of your mind. Get clarity on your question. Next, you're going to shuffle your cards any way you'd like. There's no right or wrong here. Holding the question in the front of your mind, choose your card. And then you're going to read your card. After you have flipped the card over, take some time to sit with its meaning. I suggest spending some time looking at the imagery before jumping into the guidebook. Answers that come from your intuition will always offer the most insight. Here are a few questions that will help you to tune into your own interpretations. What does the card make you think of? What comes to mind when you see this card? How does it make you feel? Does it remind you of a specific situation? Does the character seem to have qualities that remind you of anyone? And how could the character, scenario, or lesson on the card help you to better understand your current situation? If they had any advice for you, what do you think it would be? After you've taken note of your own intuitive interpretations, go to the guidebook to see if there's anything more you can learn from the card. And when you're done, I always recommend journaling. To go deeper with your reading, journal about your experiences with the card. When you do a reading, something on the cards will call for your attention. It may be as simple as the time of day or the type of landscape that the artwork portrays. It may be an emotion, an item, or a pair of shoes on the card that remind you of so-and-so. These little nudges from the cards allow you to connect your own inner knowing with the message that the card conveys about your situation. And it is in this connection, in your own interpretation of the message, that the magic truly lies. Pathworking to go deeper. I'm excited to share this technique of pathworking with you. I will be using a type of guided visualization where we will imagine that we are entering the landscape of our tarot card. Once inside, we will have an imagined conversation with the card itself. It's such a magical practice, and it's one that has helped me to learn incredible things not only about the archetype of the cards, but also about myself and my place in the world. Pathworking draws on the active imagination meditation techniques developed by Carl Jung in the early 1900s. And it works so well because it engages our subconscious in a novel way. It allows the contents of your unconscious mind to be brought to your awareness so that you can witness them and interact with them. They will show up for you as metaphors, stories, images, or ideas. As you are led through the meditation, allow your own ideas and answers to rise to the surface as spontaneously as possible. You don't need to try to create anything. Just imagine and observe. There's no need to interpret everything you see. You can always analyze something later if you want. Do your best to just be in the experience. As you enter the card, it may feel like you're making it all up, and that's perfect. We are using fantasy and imagination to access the profound vault of wisdom that your unconscious mind and your intuitive knowing have access to. In order to get the most of this exercise, your question should be asked in a way that allows for the most amount of information to come through. So we are looking for an open question. A question like, will I get the job? Which only has two possible answers, yes or no, can be turned into an open question like, what information do I need to know about this job? Or, how can I best prepare for this job interview? Or, what skills can I work with on this job? These are not yes or no questions, but rather questions that allow the mind to wander and learn new things as more information is accessed. Okay, so get your question ready and grab your deck because we are going to pick a card. If you already have a card that you want to pathwork with, just sit tight. We will catch up with you in a moment after we pull our cards. So for everyone else, grab your cards and give them a shuffle. And hold your question in the forefront of your mind as you do. Get very clear on the question. And when you're ready, go ahead and pick your card. If by chance you've pulled the 8 of Wands, you can still pathwork with the 8 of Wands on your own later. But to do this specific exercise, please pull another card to work with for the purposes of this guided pathworking meditation. Okay, now that you have your card, take a moment to look at this card. I mean, really look at it. Notice the landscape of the card, and notice the strange beauty of that landscape. Look at the character of the card, paying close attention to the details that most call out to your attention. Notice the expressions, the emotions. If the card was animated, what movements do you think you would see? What part of the card speaks to you? Which colors do you notice most? Allow your eyes to drift into the card as you notice smaller details. Perhaps there is an object or a thing that intrigues you, something that grabs your attention. Maybe it's something in the landscape or something that the character is holding. Perhaps this small detail, this small thing, is in the background or on the floor. Take note of this small detail and then focus on it for a short moment. And then tuck it away in the back of your mind and come back to it later. Take one last look at the details in the card, the landscapes and the colors, and then place the card on the floor or the table in front of you, and settle into your chair or onto the floor and make sure that you are as comfortable as possible. Looking into the card, trust that your pathworking experience will bring you the answers that you seek, and that your mind will serve up the perfect information for you at this time, because it definitely will. You don't need to control or guide the process. Simply be in the experience and allow your unconscious mind to do what it does best. Speak to you in metaphor and give you incredible nuggets of wisdom from the depths of your awareness. And now, take a deep breath in and release. as we prepare to pathwork. When you are ready, you can close your eyes. We are going to shift our focus to our breathing for a moment, taking another deep breath in and release. Notice your body on the chair or floor, and notice that you are feeling relaxed, yet excited for this experience. You bring your question to the front of your mind once more, and you begin to imagine the card as it was placed out in front of you. Seeing the card in your mind's eye, you may not be able to remember all of the details perfectly, and that's okay. What you remember is perfectly perfect. Slowly, imagine the card in front of you and watch it as it starts to grow in size. First it doubles, and then it grows larger. It's as large as a piece of paper now, and then a large book. It grows slowly to the size of a small poster, and then a window. And you notice that your card is sitting in front of you, as if a large door has magically appeared in your room. You can see the landscape of your tarot card on the other side of this magical door. But strangely enough, the character from the card seems to be missing. All you see is the beautiful landscape. And you begin to notice new details that you didn't see before. Taking one more deep breath in, you smile, knowing that you will step through the door and that the answer to your question is awaiting you in the new world on the other side. We are going to cross the threshold of the door on 3. As you breathe out, you cross through the door. In 3, 2, 1. Step into the card now, as best you can. Step into that other world. You step through, and you find yourself in the magical land of your tarot card. The air shifts. You may notice the sounds and smells that change. The lighting and the mood feel different here. Take a moment to look around and notice any details you see. In the corner of your eye, you notice a small path in the landscape. You believe that this walkway will lead you to the character of your card, and you know that this person will be able to answer your question. Moving slowly, you walk down the path, excited to meet this tarot guide. You notice someone in the distance. Their back is facing you. You approach the character of your card, knowing that they will welcome your question warmly, knowing that they are here to answer anything you have to ask. Your intuitive mind and your unconscious knowing are available to you here on this side of the door, and they are here to guide you through the process. You approach the person and you introduce yourself, and you tell them why you are here. Take some time to ask them your question and open your heart to their teachings. Ask your question now and listen for the wisdom that unfolds. As you finish your conversation, there is one more thing left to ask. One thing that will help you go deeper with your answer. Ask your tarot guide about the small detail or thing that you noticed on the card before you arrived. That small detail that called to your attention. Is there something that it can add to the information that you have received? Ask your guide why you were drawn to that specific detail, and be open to the answers that you receive. And now, thank the character from your card for their wisdom and knowing, and say your goodbyes. You can return to this place anytime, as the landscapes of the tarot are always here for you. Say your goodbyes and walk back to the doorway where you first arrived. Notice the doorway and notice your room on the other side. In a moment, we are going to travel back. We will return on 3. 1, 2, 3. Step back through the portal now and slowly come back into your body. You may want to wiggle your fingers and your toes and write down your experience or any details that you recall. Perhaps there were some details you'd like to go deeper with later, and you can write them down with any questions you have. You can always go back and speak to the same guide again, and eventually you will develop a relationship with this tarot card and its wisdom. Pathworking can be an extraordinary way to really get to know the cards and to strengthen your personal relationship with them. It can also be a way to go deeper with your own personal readings and to access the beautiful wisdom that you have inside of your heart.